a bizarre end to a horrific case. A woman fatally stabs her boyfriend more than 100 times and receives 2 years probation as her sentence. The woman named Bryn was convicted last December of involuntary manslaughter by a jury for the 2018 killing of 26-year-old Chad O'Melia. When authorities arrived at the scene, they found Bryn screaming hysterically while still holding the knife. She also stabbed herself multiple times. Experts in the trial testified she was suffering from cannabis-induced psychotic disorder, diagnosed with one or both hallucinations and delusions are present and causes significant distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. Still with us, Marie Pereira and Philip Dubé. This case is something else. We don't have a lot to show you. We weren't in the courtroom when all of this happened. But Philip, let me start with you. You're in California. It shocks us when we hear probation only for an involuntary manslaughter committed in this manner.
Not at all. I mean, if we're really honest about it, we call it invol out here, only has a top of 4 years. And it's very rare that anybody does any time on them. And the reason why is that it is an unintentional homicide. It is not an intentional killing. And in this particular case, she had a defense. It's just that the jury rejected it. The court, though, obviously considered all kinds of other hearsay that wasn't admitted at the trial and found compelling mitigation. One of the pieces of evidence, if I recall, is not only did she stab him, but she stabbed up herself because she was so psychotic from that cannabis-induced psychosis that she was actually trying to harm herself because she was completely bonkers and out of her mind. And I think the judge had a little sympathy for her and realized it wasn't just some concocted or manufactured defense, but that it was really rooted in forensics.
Fascinating. I had never heard of cannabis-induced psychotic disorder before, and so I had to educate myself. Marie, weigh in. We know involuntary manslaughter, to Philip's point, gross negligence. It is not an intent. It doesn't require intent. What do you think of probation only?
I think she got away with murder, intentional or not. She made a decision to take that drug, right? She took the medication, she took the drugs. And then she went into a psychotic episode. And I understand the mitigators. She had no prior criminal history. She's an upstanding member in her community. And like Philip said, when they tried to arrest her, she plunged a knife into her own neck. So clearly she wasn't well. But for her to just get probation, that expert who testified for her better clear his calendar, because this is going to open a door, smoke weed, act crazy, get a good expert, and get away with murder.
And that's what I thought, Philip. Just briefly, you know, to me, this is going to open the doors. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's not going to open any door. How often, Ashley, in your career, since you've been reporting and even adjudicating cases, have you ever heard of a cannabis-induced psychosis?
Exactly.
They are one, okay, right? It's the only one in the galaxy. So it happened to land right here in Ventura County, California, and it will probably never happen again. It was an oddity.
All right. Thank you so much, Marie Pereira, for joining us. Philip Dubé sticking around. We're going to have a lot more fun. Before we go, though, I do want to share today's thought from the bench. In spite of good points made by Philip Dubé, technically, I know the law does provide that a person guilty of involuntary manslaughter can be sentenced only up to 4 years in jail or prison. But what kind of message does this send? What kind of justice is this? Let me know your thoughts. In this case, you smoke marijuana. You say you were forced to smoke it. It was involuntary. And then you find an expert to say, well, this killing was triggered by cannabis psychosis. Are you kidding? It just feels to me like the jury had already disagreed with that defense and convicted the woman of involuntary manslaughter. So wouldn't a sentence of probation only fly in the face of the jury conviction? That's how I feel. She stabbed a 26-year-old more than 100 times with different knives. I just disagree with this sentence. I believe it called for jail time.